A day after the big Jallikattu events in the state came to a close, it's perhaps important to focus on the loss of lives yet again. Despite safety precautions and measures, this year too, 6 people have been gored to death, both spectators and bull tamers at the big events in the state. Unofficially, the toll could be much more. So often the focus, remember, is on the 3 big events and the smaller village events that go unnoticed. At Alanganulur yesterday, 1 bull tamer was killed, unfortunately, and 1 was killed at an earlier event in Avaniyapuram. At least 5 spectators have died in various events, according to unconfirmed reports. Each year, remember, several lives are lost in what is a brutal but an emotive event with strong cultural and traditional resonance in that state. Shouldn't the loss of lives be a concern? Joining me for a quick face-off this evening, Kartikeya Senapati, a noted Jallikattu enthusiast, and Supreme Court advocate Ashwini Dubey. Kartikeya, first to you, when you see these loss of lives despite the safety precautions, as an enthusiast of that sport and that event as a cultural tradition, does it worry you? Does it concern you? Are there questions that are raised within those who organize Jallikattu across the state?
Firstly, I condemn the wording brutal, barbaric and all this, which was constantly used by the Delhi media against all other South Indian states. This is a biased look of the Delhi media, always on South Indian states, trying to impose the culture of supremacy against Tamil Nadu, Kerala, Karnataka, Andhra. One. Second, there are have I ever seen a debate about mob lynching of people catching a cow and going in northern India, of somebody who supposedly had beef and people going and beating them? Have we ever seen a debate in national media about this? So why such a biased view on a traditional sport which is connected to Indus Valley civilization, Harappan civilization, a culture of the Tamil people, the South Indians? When the cattle was domesticated 7,000 years
I just want to reiterate that I am also a South Indian, I am also a Tamilian, and I'm not questioning the cultural tradition at all. If you want me to take back the word brutal, it's fine. You can give another word for it. I just had a specific question in terms of the loss of life and if it concerns you.
See, let me ask you. Let me ask you something. You should let us talk.
What else would you call it?
No, I would call cutting down 70,000 acres of forest, pristine forest lands in Andaman Nicobar brutal by the government of India.
No, boxing is a brutal sport. There are sports which are brutal. I would call rugby a brutal sport as well.
Let me ask you something. I request the national media, especially NDTV today, to have a debate on climate change, a bigger challenge to humanity. Number of people dying is really, really high because of climate change. In Andaman Nicobar, 70,000 acres of pristine land is being given to a private company in the name of development. Is it what we want today? Why aren't we having debates on that?
Okay.
Why is the media, especially the Delhi media,
we have been having debates on that as well. I'm sorry to interrupt, but we have been having several debates on that as well. I agree with that.
We haven't had debates on
just point
70,000 acres of land being given to a private company in Andaman Nicobar.
We have debates on all this ones. Ashwini,
and the sad part is, you say you have unconfirmed
put this in
reports.
Perspective very quickly, and I'll get Kartikeya
Senapati. Today is the question.
I agree with you on that point.
7 dead, more than 400 hurt in an event which could have been more in a safer way. It's not that even the Supreme Court 5 judges bench has not prohibited it. But the question herein is that the organizers who were put a duty to protect the life of individuals and also the animals, all living beings, including animals, possess inherent liberty as recognized by the Constitution, and their life is also important. So why it would not have been in a safer way? One, to the Constitution of India does not, the life for each individual, including the animals, is important in the Constitution 3. My brother is terming it to be a mob lynching or something, that the cow, the beef and all. It is not relevant here. Relevant here is, my dear brother, 7 dead, 400 hurt. Every
yeah,
year
people
it
being
happens.
killed in northern India is
Why
not
there
relevant to
can't
you.
be
No, let me
protective
ask you,
measures? Why
people
the
being
organizers
killed
instead of
for having beef
my
is
point
not
is very
relevant here.
simple.
No,
We
I
all
just
No,
want,
Indian
Ashwin, let's
constitution
not
does
talk
not
over each other.
guarantee
Second,
what you
Ashwini
want to
Dubey,
eat.
you made your point. Mr. Karthikeya Senapati, sir,
Mr. Karthikeya, we all
just
know
calmly, I
it's
just
a
want to ask you
sport.
one quick question, sir. Sir, I just want to ask you one question. There are many, many events. Nobody is questioning. Supreme Court has given its rulings. Nobody is asking that. I'm only asking, is there a systemic change within to increase the efforts to ensure that the loss of life is minimized? Is there something more that can be done? As somebody who follows and observes the sport so closely, event so closely, it is a cultural tradition in the state. Give us an answer to that question, sir.
No, it's very, very simple. There is a clear system to protect, and like the Income Tax Act, sometimes people don't pay the income tax properly. You don't ban the income tax. You ensure there is more compliance. Same way, in India, lakhs of people die because nobody is bothered about the food we are having, the chemicals in our food. Take, for example, we use endosulfan, which the government of India has not yet banned, and lakhs of people are getting cancer because of endosulfan. And we use a chemical called glyphosate, which is used in India as a weedicide, which is to be banned. World over, there are issues. In India, we don't care. And when there are such big issues which is to be debated, and if at all NDTV or any national media is
Okay.
concerned, we should have debates to save people who are
No, no,
consuming something
I
called
think you're
food.
sidestepping the
I'm
question. The
not
question was a
sidestepping. I'm not
straightforward one.
sidestepping. I am
Frankly, I would.
trying to
No, no, I
emphasize the
get your answer.
point. I am trying to emphasize the point that the English media, especially sitting in Delhi, is trying to put down Dravidian, South Indian, Tamil culture.
Okay. Okay,
Complete.
we'll take that point as well. We'll keep the discussion.
That is my
Ashwini
answer.
Dubey, I'm sorry,
That
we've
is
just
my
completely
answer. It's
run out of
always a
time on this
bias
conversation.
when